And we are live. Woo.
Oh boy.
And we'll give it just a minute or two for people to join us if they're going to. The recording of this live stream will stay up on Facebook throughout the auditions. So until like the 15th or something like that. So if you are watching this after the live is over, still feel free to put any comments that you have down in the comment section, and we will get answers to you as soon as we can with that.
Also, how are you doing? How's the future? Comment below if things go really bad in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, please let us in the past know what's coming.
Just a taste of the logic that is this show.
Yeah, very true. Oh goodness. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with having you introduce. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know, my name is Brian Palmer. I am executive director for Ethereal Jest. I'm also producing this production, Neil Simon's Fools. So at this point, Ryan, if you'd go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your experience and yeah.
Oh, hello, I'm Ryan, the director of this show. As far as experience, I've been doing theater for quite some time. I started my freshman year of high school, just kind of on a whim, and fell in love with it immediately, and have been doing it nonstop since. This is my second time directing, specifically with Ethereal. I had my directorial debut last season with The Reluctant Dragon, and it was a ton of fun, and I really want to get back out there and do it again.
Yeah, Reluctant Dragon was such a fun show. Similar to this one, it was a comedy as well, but last year's was much more like children's theater based. It was more focused on younger audiences. Where this one, it's more, I wouldn't necessarily say like adult comedy, because it wouldn't be inappropriate for younger audiences, but it's definitely, and let me know if you disagree. It's definitely more geared toward an older audience, like at least like high school and adult.
Oh, absolutely. With Reluctant Dragon, the comedy came a lot more from physical gags and very big, kind of flamboyant characters, which this show also has, but I feel like the comedy in this one comes a lot more from wordplay and puns and kind of absurdist thinking that might go over younger audiences' heads. They would still enjoy it, I believe, but
Yeah,
might not get all of the jokes.
yeah. So before we get too much into the show itself, um, can you tell us a little bit about who the members of your team are?
Yes. So for assistant director, stage manager, I have Kate France. Um, she is fantastic. I brought her on specifically because I think she is one of the funniest people I've ever met. And I really need someone with a great comedic sense to help me flesh out this show. Um, for costumes, we have Amy Grossclose, who actually did the costuming for Reluctant Dragon as well and did a incredible job. Actually, everything that I had in my vision for the show, she was able to pull off, and it was perfect. Um, I know you told me the rest of the team earlier, and I cannot remember anyone else.
Yeah, some members of the team were still solidifying. We also have Travis Williams, who is our staff scenic designer, who will be designing the set for us. The rest of the team, we hopefully will be able to announce over the next week or so. Now, with Kate coming on board, she was also in Reluctant Dragon last year as
She
the
was the
titular
reluctant
dragon.
dragon.
Yeah, so this is a nice having some members of last year's production coming back. I say last year; it was just March. Uh,
Well,
time is
she's also an ethereal veteran, I guess you could
yeah,
say.
yeah,
She's done a lot with this company.
yeah. She was in our production of Anne of Green Gables. She was in The Somewhat True Tale of Robin Hood. So yeah, she is definitely a familiar face for those who have seen multiple of our shows. So when we're looking at this show in particular, Fools by Neil Simon. Um, what is the show about? What is the story?
So I think this show has a couple of different layers. On the top surface layer, it's a show about a young man who is a kind of foolhardy character, takes himself very seriously as a teacher, is sent to a small Ukrainian village in the 1800s to teach the town leader's daughter, be a guidance mentor for her, I guess. Um, but when he arrives in the village, he discovers that the village has been cursed with stupidity, and the antics kind of come from there. There is a plot about a curse and how it can be broken. If he stays in the village for too long, he will succumb to the curse. So it's a race against the clock of he can uh, teach this girl before he too becomes stupid. It's hard to break down kind of an A to B what this show is because there's several different threads.
Very much. I actually, this was the first play that I ever did when I was a sophomore in high school. And I got to play Leon, the teacher. And it is a, a marathon comedy. Like it starts high energy, it finishes high energy. It's just a whirlwind. For an audience, it's a roller coaster ride of just you cannot expect what's coming next. It just keeps hitting you from different directions. And there's, I think, what, 8 characters in the show,
Yes,
something like that. And each one of them, no matter how many lines they have, are all really well developed characters. They're very unique, and they all add to the chaos of the story. It's really, if you're an actor who enjoys comedy and not just comedy, but physical comedy, this is definitely a show that you should give a try. Uh, so, with that in mind, what is your concept for the show? What is your twist on it? What is your take?
so I don't know if it can really be considered a twist on it because it's more of a broad how we're going to go about the comedy and how we're going to go about telling this story. I want it to feel for audiences like they're watching a 90s to early 2000s rom com because it has that high kind of poppy energy. Um, Even the emotional beats in this show never really dip in energy. It's uh, the characters go through these emotions while still maintaining that very absurdist kind of stupidity. And um, I think that harkens a lot back to those rom coms of the early 2000s where you have a main character man who is love struck dumb little puppy for this girl and wants to do anything he can to solve the problem and get the girl. But it doesn't exactly go that way because of the nature of the curse.
Yeah.
But that is the feeling I want to give.
What would you say is the ultimate theme or message of the show?
So for this show, I really think that it's I hate to be so cliche, but I think it's about learning to be accepting of yourself and of those around you, and no matter how things may seem, it's usually a bit more simple than that.
Mhm.
Because even the curse, not to give away any of the spoilers of the show, even the curse itself ends up being so much more simple than the characters believe it to be.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I feel like that harkens back to those rom-coms where it feels very high stakes and the world depends on this, but it doesn't.
Yeah. And I
It
think
doesn't at all.
in addition to all that, I think the whole not taking yourself too seriously is kind of an undercurrent through it as well. That, like you said, Leon is very um, confident in his professionalism, and coming into this chaotic uh, blunderbuss of just nonsense. By the end of it, he does seem to be much more relaxed, much more accepting, much more go with the flow. Um, that yeah, it's definitely something that in the time that we're in today just seems like it's so innocent in its chaos and humor that it's like a breath of fresh air in a
Mm.
very oppressive time. So, when it comes to auditions, what will the audition process be like? What can people expect?
So for the auditions, we will be doing smaller groups. I would say no more than 5 to 7 people per group. It will be mostly cold reads from the script, doing sides. There is one thing that I have asked to be prepared for auditions, and that is every auditionee, I want to hear a joke. Just a joke. It doesn't have to be, I guess prepared is the wrong word, because it doesn't have to be memorized. It doesn't have to be anything. You can be in the audition and just Google funny jokes. I'm not looking for someone who can tell me a good joke. I'm looking for someone who can tell a joke well. Um, I want to see how people time their humor, if they can get that comedic timing down. I want to see inflection and tone and whether or not you can carry that joke. Uh, but other than that, just cold reads.
Cool. Cold reads are always fun.
I
Um,
prefer them over prepared any day.
I get that. So, for those who are interested in auditioning, but maybe have never auditioned before, or it's been a long time since they've auditioned, or someone who just doesn't feel like they audition well, next weekend we will be offering what we call an audition seminar. It's a free event where you can come in and see the space that you'll be auditioning in, practice some cold reads, get some feedback, get some notes on ways to improve your auditions. Again, that's free and open to the public. The information is on Facebook as to the date and time. Um, and then the week after that are the actual auditions. So, will you be planning to have a callback for auditions?
Uh, Not really planning to. If it is absolutely necessary, I will. But as of now, I would prefer not to. Um, though I would say it's a good problem to have if I do have to have callbacks.
Yeah, and if you do, I believe that would be Monday the
The
15th.
Monday.
Yeah. And it's one of those where if we do have callbacks, you will get an email letting you know. If you do not get an email invite, that doesn't mean that you're not being considered. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be in the show. It just means at that point, Ryan has seen what he needs to and doesn't want to waste your time by calling you in when he already uh, has seen what he needs. Uh, so when it comes to the timeline for casting decisions, here everyone gets a notification, whether you're cast on the show or whether you're not. We make sure that everyone is notified one way or the other. Now, the timeline, everyone will get a notice via email by 8 a.m. on the Thursday following auditions, which I believe is the 18th, I think. Now, you may get an offer before then, but that is the latest before we will send notifications. And then, whether you're cast or not, we ask that everybody keep whatever results to themselves until Friday at 8 a.m. when we post it online. It'll be on the website, it'll be on social media. At that point, you can share and say whatever you want to say. So once people have been cast in the show and we start rehearsals, what will the rehearsal process be like? What can they expect?
So this rehearsal process it's going to go fast. I fully intend to hit the ground running. Obviously, the very first night, I believe, is the 22nd, Monday of September. That will just be table read and kind of going over characters and expectations and all that fun stuff. But after that, we are going to hit the ground running with blocking. I plan it obviously depends on if actors have conflicts, things like that. But preliminary schedule right now has us finishing blocking by the second week, and then starting rehearsing full act runs for the next about 2 weeks, and then by the fourth week, I would like to be doing full runs of the show. So it is going to be pretty fast rehearsal process, but we will definitely still take the time to flesh out the world and flesh out the character. Um, I know that there is so much in this show that it's going to be absolutely jam packed. So we have to use our time very wisely and not get too caught up on anything. We have to really look at it as a whole, if that makes sense.
Definitely. I just had a question and then lost it. So when someone is filling out the audition application and they see the rehearsal schedule, and if they have conflicts, should they still audition even if they have conflicts, or would a conflict make it impossible for them to do the show?
I would say the only reason a conflict would make it impossible for you is if you have to miss any performances.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, within reason, of course, I am more than willing to work with people on conflicts. I mean, if you can only make it to one rehearsal a week, probably not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
But again, within reason, absolutely. If it's only some conflicts throughout the rehearsal process, still put those on your sheet and please be forthcoming with your conflicts, just so that there are no surprises down the road. But we are absolutely willing to work with that.
Yeah, and communication is always a priority. I'm sure you'll agree that as a director, I can work with any conflicts if I'm aware of them.
Yes.
If you're working through the schedule and deciding who's called when, and people aren't communicating their conflicts to you, that not only affects your ability to properly schedule people, it also affects the rest of the cast, because if you're working on a scene with only two people and one of them has a conflict that they didn't tell you, well, now you've wasted everybody's time.
Yes.
So, yeah. And I've also been a believer that if a director wants to work with you bad enough, they will work around your conflicts. So it's always, always, always a best practice to put all conflicts, even if it's just a potential, still put it down, because it's better for you as a director to think that you don't have someone one night and then find out that you do, instead of the other way around. Because it's always easier to
Absolutely.
work people into than trying to cover for people missing. Oh, very cool. So, is there anything else about the production, about the rehearsal process, about auditions, anything that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure that we do cover?
Not really that I can think of. The main thing that I want to get across is how important a sense of comedy is going to be for this show. Um, I need people who are going to be comfortable with themselves and able to get on stage, and there's really no way to say this other than just make a fool of yourself, because
I mean, that's
that's
why the
the
title
name of the
is what
show.
it is.
So if you're someone who gets embarrassed very easily, it's going to be a rough show for you. Uh, Now, if you want to use that to come out of your shell, please,
Yeah.
we'll help you there.
And this is definitely the kind of show that if you do want to push your boundaries and do want to come out of your shell, this is nice because it's really an ensemble show where you
Yeah.
have the safety net of all these other actors on stage with you, instead of having to be out there on your own doing crazy, silly stuff.
Well, and that's part of what's going to make the rehearsal process so kind of not rushed, but fast paced, is that there are very, very, very little parts of this show that only have a couple of characters. It's usually most, like over half of the cast is on stage at one time. So we need everyone in on it, everyone doing their part.
Definitely. Now, is there an age limit for actors? How young of an actor can audition for the show?
I really have no guidelines on any age requirements or anything like that. There are certain things that I guess just for the show to make sense are going to be necessary. Like some of the characters really need to be older. And when I say older, I just mean not children specifically, because we can do makeup on anyone, but it'll be hard for a 10-year-old to play a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, I'm definitely open to anyone. Really, for a lot of the characters, I would say even for all of the characters, there isn't any specific uh, guidelines on uh, age or sex or anything like that. It's open to everyone.
Yeah, I would second that. Like, even though it takes place in a small village in the Ukraine, this isn't a historical documentary. This isn't like a period piece. Uh, so, actors of all races, ethnicities, orientations are all eligible to play pretty much any role. I would say that the only thing when it comes to age is that it would be relative. That
Yeah,
when specifically like with Sophia and then Dr. and Mrs. Zabritsky, like they need to look like they're old enough to be her parents to make sense. But that means that like if you cast someone younger as Sophia, then the parents can be a little younger. Where if you cast Sophia older, then they would have to be older relatively. But like the villagers, they really could be just
yeah.
about any age. Yeah. Fantastic. So again, next Saturday is the audition seminar. There's more information on Facebook as well as the Ethereal Just website on that. The week after that is auditions. You can just show up, but we do prefer that everyone fill out the online application and get scheduled into a time slot, just so that way you would then only have to be there for an hour. You come in, do your thing, get to leave, and then the next group comes in. Where if you just walk in, you'll have to wait until there's an opening in a group. So you might have to wait a little while. Where if you're pre-scheduled, you'll know exactly what time block that you'll be there.
And also, just on a selfish note, I want to know if people are coming or not.
Yes.
The waiting is killer.
Very much so. But yeah, and if this show may not feel like it's your thing, we have auditions coming up for our Christmas show next month. We have a staged reading festival coming up in October that we'll also be looking for actors. We have our first teen show coming up in the end of February. The auditions for that will be, I believe, early December. And so there's always events and projects and things to be a part of around throughout the year. So yeah, if you have any questions for me or for Ryan related to the show, just drop it in the comment section and we will get you answers as soon as we can. Otherwise, hope to see everyone at auditions. Ryan, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Sunday evening to join us and chat a little bit about the show. And with that, I'll let you go, say goodbye to everyone, and have a great week.
Bye, everyone.